For as long as we've existed, we've stared up at the night sky and just wondered, right? We see these comets streaking across the darkness. And for ages, we've thought of them as omens or maybe messengers or, just random bits of space stuff. But what if there's something else entirely? What if there's a message up there, a code just waiting to be cracked, hidden right in plain sight? Okay, let's get into this because it's a wild ride. So, the story we're usually told is pretty straightforward, right? Comets are just dirty snowballs, leftovers from the edge of the solar system. But is that the whole story? I mean, really, could it be that they're not random at all? What if they're deliberate signs, pointing to something much, much bigger? Okay, to even begin to wrap our heads around this, we've got to totally shift how we see things. Forget the idea of a vast, empty, chaotic universe for a second. Instead, picture the heavens as this perfectly designed, perfectly orchestrated show. And in this incredible performance, comets aren't just random guest stars that pop in and out. No, they're the timekeepers. They're literally the hands on a giant cosmic clock. And that's really the core of it right there. This theory says comets are not random. Not at all. It's proposing they're meticulously placed markers. Think of them as glowing pins on a map, put there for one reason, to mark time on a scale we can barely imagine. So the big question is, how on earth would a clock like that even work? Well, to figure that out, we have to look at the stage this is all playing out on. So to get this cosmic clock, we first need to understand the theater it's in. And this is where the theory takes a pretty radical turn. It all starts with a completely different model of our world, a flat Earth with a massive dome over it that's acting like a giant screen. Yeah, the dome. This is the absolute key to the whole thing. And we're not talking about an atmosphere like we learn about in school. No, think of it as a solid but totally transparent structure. It's a screen, a canvas, and everything we see up there. The sun, the moon, the stars, and yep, the comets, it's all being projected onto it. And to make this idea a little easier to picture, the source material gives us a pretty cool modern analogy. It says to think of the dome almost like one of those first pioneering high-definition flat-screen TVs, a divine screen projecting our entire reality for us to watch. Okay, so if the sky is a giant screen, how do we actually read this cosmic clock? Well, the theory goes that the comets aren't just random blips on the screen, not at all. They're running on a very precise schedule, basically forming a calendar that you can actually decode. That is, if you know the code. And this is where it gets really, really cool. It's a whole system. So, step 1, a comet's path isn't an orbit shaped by gravity. It's a timetable, already set. Step 2, its brightness tells you how important the event is. So, a really bright, dazzling comet, that's a huge deal. Step 3, get this, even the color means something. It's a cue. Red could signal conflict, for example. And finally, step 4, those once-in-a-lifetime great comets, those are the big ones. They're like the grand chimes on the clock, signaling the start or the end of a whole era in history. Yeah, that quote just nails it, doesn't it? Cosmic chronometers marking the passage of time on a grand celestial projection screen. It really paints this incredible picture of a universe that's not random, but a perfect clockwork machine with comets guiding us through time. It's a fascinating thought. But hold on. What if that's not the full story? What if it goes even deeper? And this is where things take a serious left turn into some really mind-bending territory. I mean, what if the clock itself, this perfect, heavenly machine, what if it's the clue that something is, well, wrong? What if these comets are like glitches on a screen, little flickers that give us a peek at the code running underneath our entire reality? So, just like that, we're shifting gears. We're moving away from a physical model of a dome and a clock and into a digital one. This next level of the theory says our reality isn't just being projected for us to watch. It's programmed, and we're living inside of it. A full-blown, sophisticated simulation. So where's the proof? Well, the argument is that it's all in the math. The theory claims that if you really dig into the data on comets, when they appear, the paths they take, you start seeing these incredible, non-random patterns. Things like Fibonacci numbers or prime numbers showing up. Coincidence? This theory says no way. These are the digital fingerprints of whoever or whatever programmed this reality. And a comet showing up, that might just be a sign that the system is getting a version update. And in this model, the dome gets a major upgrade.
It's not just a passive movie screen anymore. Oh no, now it's an active transmitter, a gigantic antenna that is constantly broadcasting frequencies that are designed to directly influence our consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings, everything.
And this is where we see what's at stake. Look at this. On one side, you have low frequencies being broadcast. What does that create? Fear, division, tribalism, control. It keeps people manageable. But on the other side, you have the high frequencies, and what do they bring? Creativity, empathy, unity, what the theory calls ascension. And the comets? They could be the very things that regulate which frequency we're all tuned into. So if we're living in a simulation and it's actively trying to influence us, is there a way out? Or maybe the better question is there a way up? This is where it all gets really personal. This is about how you can break the code from the inside. Okay, get ready because this is the big reveal. The you that you experience every day, your body, your name, your personality, that's not the real you. That's just your avatar in the game. Your true self is something so much bigger. It's pure consciousness. It's the awareness that exists completely outside the simulation, in what you could call base reality. And that quote, wow, we are not simply avatars, we are the programmers. That just changes everything, doesn't it? The whole point is that we are not just helpless little characters running around in someone else's game. We're not just the players. Deep down, at our core level of consciousness, we are the ones who program the game in the first place. So how do you wake up that inner programmer? How do you access that power? Well, the theory says you level up. You do it by consciously raising your own personal frequency, through things like meditation, mindfulness, just becoming more self-aware. The idea is that you can start to see the illusion for what it is, connect back to that base reality, and begin to actually write your own code instead of just running the old program. And I think this is such an important twist. It reframes the whole thing. The simulation, in this view, isn't a prison. It's not some dark trap. It's a training ground. It's a complex, beautiful, sometimes difficult gym for consciousness to work out, to evolve, and to finally remember the amazing power it had all along. So, we end up right back where we started, looking up at the sky and just wondering, is it all just a giant, perfect clock? Or maybe a super advanced computer program? Or is it something way more profound? A kind of cosmic obstacle course designed for our own awakening? The theory doesn't claim to have all the answers, but man, it leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. So, what do you think?